Well, according to ESPN's Bobby Marks, Kawhi Leonard will be agreeing to a new deal with the Los Angeles Clippers, but it's my responsibility to break this stuff down to you. Here's why this deal could mean a lot to the Clippers or literally could mean nothing at all to the Los Angeles Clippers and basketball fans all over. I'll explain it to you. So apparently Kawhi has told the Clippers that he's coming back. He's going to sign a new deal, but the details of how many years the deal is going to be has not been disclosed to the public for sure, or any reporter hasn't been able to get it from Kawhi's representation or the Clippers organization, or maybe Kawhi hadn't made his mind up on how long it's going to be all together, right? We know it's going to be either a 2 or 4 year deal, most likely. If it's a 4-year deal, then great. It'll be around $178 million. Kawhi Leonard, probably towards the tail end of his prime, depending on how his body holds up, could still be free once again in his early 30s. And that's pretty much that on that. That would be great for the Clippers. You lock up your guy in all-NBA talent going forward. But, and this is the but heard around the world today. If Kawhi Leonard opts to do a 2-year deal, meaning a guy of somebody of Kawhi's caliber, he can negotiate a player option on that second year for sure, and he's going to do it. If it's a 2-year deal, well, the Clippers could still be in trouble. This same point in the offseason next year, nothing would have changed. Think about it from this perspective. I don't believe Kawhi Leonard is playing basketball next year. All right, let me lead with that. And I bring that up to say, if Kawhi's not playing on that partially torn ACL, which history shows us Kawhi ain't playing basketball, he ain't hooping until he's 110%. He's not one of these guys that's going to go out there on 70, 80%. No, for Kawhi, his body is his everything. And he doesn't trust a lot of you doctors out there that work for you teams because he claims the Spurs lied to him and maybe the Clippers doctors lied to him. So he's only going to play when Kawhi's ready to play. If that is true, I don't believe Kawhi's going to come back and play basketball in January, February, and try to make the most out of that season wherever the Clippers land next year. I don't believe that. I think Kawhi's out for the season. That obviously has not been announced, but I don't believe Kawhi's playing basketball next year. So if he has a 1-1, for Kawhi, it makes all the sense in the world. He was expected to make $36 million this year for the Clippers. He opted out of that last year, that deal, in favor of whatever deal he signs. Here's what we do know. He's eligible for 35% of the Clippers salary. So he'll get a bare minimum $3 million bump up in pay increase. So he'll probably make around $39.40 this year. See if it's a 2-year deal or a 4-year deal. Here's what we know. Kawhi Leonard could easily next summer, if he doesn't play a lick of basketball for the Clippers this year, say, hey, I'm leaving y'all next year. I just wanted my extra $3-4 million. Which puts the Clippers right in the same spot that they're in now. Not having Kawhi Leonard locked up for the future. Now, if Kawhi is able to play one dribble for the Clippers this year, it clearly was all worth it. A guy of Kawhi's caliber, all-NBA dude, you want him on your basketball team if you can have him. But Kawhi probably ain't going to play this year, which means if he does a 2-year deal, which would be the smartest financial move, because essentially it could be this situation. If he does a 2-year deal, he can rehab this year on the Clippers dollar, make his $3-4 million extra. Next year, he can reevaluate where his body is at. And I don't know, what if he's not 100% healthy at the beginning of next year? I don't know. We've seen stranger things in the NBA, and we haven't, it's Kawhi we're talking about. We've seen stranger things from that brother. He could, if his body ain't right, he could opt in again to take that second year of that deal. But most likely what he'll do if he's 100% is opt out. And if he wants to stay with the Clippers, he can get $250 from them, which is a huge commitment from Los Angeles to a guy who's had injury history in his past, a lot of it. Or he could go somewhere else, find a new super team, find a new place to play, do something else. That's why if you're the Clippers, the amount of years is pivotal on this deal. We just saw Kevin Durant moments ago relinquish a little bit of his leverage for the better sake of the Brooklyn Nets. We'll see if Kawhi does the same, as details of his new deal should be announced in the upcoming days.